Okay, I have a challenge for you today.
Oh, I like challenges.
I want you to picture the most serious academic manual on teamwork you can imagine.
Okay, got it. I'm thinking lots of charts, flow charts, maybe some acronyms.
Perfect. No, just throw that all out the window.
Done.
Because today we are learning about high-stakes team dynamics from a source with, well, it might be the greatest title in history. Are you ready?
I am so ready. Lay it on me.
The source material for today's deep dive is titled "And Very Ultra Super Pro Max Gigantic X100 Big Folktale." And yes, I did count the zero.
That is quite a title. It's ambitious. I kind of love it.
Right. It's from two creators, Amir and Arda. And behind that very playful title, what we actually have is this surprisingly deep manual on group psychology. It's a story about 5 friends: Atakan, Arda, Robert, Philip, and Amir.
It really is. It's so easy to look at a title like that and just expect, silliness. But when you get into it, it's a masterclass in what we call distributed leadership. The core theme here isn't just kids fighting monsters. It's this idea of friendship as a shield.
Friendship is a shield. I love that. It sounds poetic, but in this story, it's almost a literal tactical instruction.
Exactly. We're going to see how 5 very different people function, not as individuals, but as components of a single defense system against the dark.
Yeah.
It's a really fascinating look at resilience.
So let's set the stage. Let's introduce the party.
Okay.
We have Atakan, who feels like the calm center, the leader. He's the one who eventually gets the golden key. Then there's Arda, who is always the brave one, the protector, the distraction.
But you can't overlook the others. They are just as critical. You've got Robert and Amir, who are all about utility, the ropes, the fire, the tools. And then Philip, who brings strategy and light to the group.
Take one of them away, and the whole thing just falls apart.
The whole machine breaks down.
Yeah. So the story opens with this classic setup. You have the village safe, predictable, the comfort zone.
And then you have the forest.
The forest. The text says the elders saw fear, strange lights. But these 5 boys, they saw secrets waiting to be discovered.
That's the call to adventure, right? But here's where it gets really interesting psychologically. Before they even go in, they stop at the edge of the woods, they hold hands, and they make a pact.
The promise.
No one would run away, no one would be left behind. Now, that sounds like a sweet kid thing to do, but in, organizational psychology, this is a huge moment.
How so?
They're establishing a team charter.
A team charter.
Absolutely. They're creating what we call psychological safety. By saying out loud, no one gets left behind, they remove the fear of being abandoned. So their brains can switch from survival mode into problem-solving mode before the danger even shows up.
So they're not just holding hands, they're regulating each other's nervous systems.
That's a perfect way to put it. And they need it, because the first test comes immediately. They step into the shadows and what? Boom. Fog.
A thick fog and glowing yellow eyes.
Shadow wolves. Now, the instinct there is fight or flight. You run or you lash out.
Panic.
But they do neither. They stand back to back in a circle. It's a disciplined, defensive formation.
And Amir lights a lantern, Robert adds burning sticks, and the text says the warm glow formed a bright shield around them.
And that's the takeaway. They didn't attack the wolves. They didn't try to kill the threat. They used light and warmth to repel the darkness. It sets the rules for this world. Unity and warmth are the real weapons against fear.
But the forest isn't just monsters, it's also the terrain itself. And this next part, the swamp of sinking mud, this gave me some serious anxiety.
This is a great metaphor for, a sudden crisis in a project, an environmental hazard, not an external enemy.
Philip steps in and he just starts sinking. And this is the moment where a team usually falls apart, right? Everyone rushes in to help and then everyone sinks.
But look how they react. It's like an immediate protocol. Atakan stays calm. That's leadership. Amir and Robert are on the ropes. And Arda, I love this detail, Arda lies flat on the ground to spread his weight.
That's surprisingly scientific for a folktale.
It is. It shows they're not just brave, they're smart. They understand physics. He's increasing his surface area so he doesn't become another victim.
The forest punishes isolation. The group mitigates the risk.
Precisely.
So they survive the mud, and what happens next? Goblins. Small, green, laughing goblins.
And this is where we see their tactics start to evolve. With the wolves, it was passive defense. Stand still. Here, they get proactive.
Right. Atakan throws a shiny stone as a distraction.
It's a simple trick, but it breaks the goblin's focus.
And while they're distracted, the others are tying them up with ropes. It's like this well-oiled machine. They're not using brute strength, they're just outsmarting them.
And that all leads up to the ogre, a huge physical threat. You can't just tie this thing up.
So they use a strategy that felt really familiar. Arda and Robert are running and shouting, leading it away, while Atakan lures it towards the mud.
In gaming, you'd call that kiting.
Kiting, exactly. So for anyone who isn't a gamer, it's like you're flying a kite, you get the monster to chase you, but you stay just far enough away that it can't hit you. You're controlling its movement.
Ah, I see. So they're manipulating the battlefield.
Yes. They kite the ogre right into the same mud that almost got Philip.
Which is brilliant. They turned a weakness into a weapon. They're mastering their environment now.
So in the middle of all this, they find a waterfall and a cave behind it. And inside, they find the treasure chest.
But it's not gold coins. It's a map, some gems, and the golden key.
And the key felt warm in Atakan's hand, as if it were alive.
That warmth again. The lantern was warm, the key is warm. It signifies that this object is aligned with them, with life. It's not a cold weapon.
And this is the moment the story shifts from a hike into a real quest.
Yeah, because right after that, they rescue a fairy named Iris from a spider web. She drops the bombshell. There's a dark wizard.
Morven. He wants to steal the power of the heart tree.
And this is so important. Up until now, they've been fighting things that act on instinct. Wolves, ogres. Morven represents intent. He represents greed and isolation. He's the total opposite of the boys.
And Iris leads them to the river of fear. Now this obstacle felt different.
It's a psychological attack. The river reflects their own fears.
That is terrifying. But the solution is the same as it was at the very beginning. They hold hands to cross a broken bridge. Fear loses its power when they face it together.
It's a perfect metaphor for co-regulation. Sometimes you just need a hand to hold to ground you in reality.
So they cross the river, and then they hit what I started calling the gauntlet. The story just picks up speed here. It's like a rapid-fire test of everything they've learned.
Oh, absolutely. Let's break it down. First up, the living maze.
The path keeps changing. The trees are moving.
Total disorientation. But Philip steps up. He marks the trees. He's not fighting them. He's data tagging them. Imposing order on chaos.
And then armored goblins.
Can't hit them. So they use tripwires. Attack their stability, not their armor.
Stone troll.
Aim for the knees. Leverage.
Giant spider.
Fire. Elemental weakness. They're leveling up, getting ready for the final boss.
And they need to be. Because they finally reach the heart tree. The moon rises, the golden key shines, and out steps Morven.
He's got a cold voice, demands the key. And it's Amir, who's usually the quiet one with the ropes, who speaks up. He says, "We will not give it to someone who wishes harm."
I love that moment. It shows that leadership is fluid in this group. Everyone owns the mission.
Morven, of course, summons the Shadow Wolves again.
But they're ready this time. Arda swings a lantern in a huge circle, using light offensively now. Robert and Philip are using branches as shields. They've become a fortress.
So Morven escalates. Round 2. Vines erupt from the ground.
And look at the skills here. Emir uses a knife for precision cuts. Philip uses glowing stones from the cave to make them shrink. They're using everything they've collected. Nothing was wasted.
But then, round 3. And for me, this is the most critical moment in the entire story.
I completely agree. It has nothing to do with fighting the villain.
Morven creates a swamp beneath them. A callback. And Robert falls in.
And just stop and think about this. The Dark Wizard is right there. The logical hero move is to focus on the bad guy, right? Defeat him, and the swamp goes away.
The greater good. Sacrifice the one.
Oh, they don't do that. The reaction is instant. Arda and Amir are throwing ropes. Philip has a branch. They prioritize saving Robert over fighting Morven.
They turn their backs on the villain to save their friend.
Exactly, and that is so profound. If they had abandoned Robert, the shield would have cracked. It would have broken their first promise. No one left behind.
By saving him, they maintain their integrity. In their world, unity is the power. If they lose that, they've already lost to Morven.
The victory isn't killing the bad guy, it's keeping the team whole. So they save Robert, and they finally get to the stone door protecting the forest heart. But Morven has one last trick. A stone giant.
The final stand. And the battle plan is just beautiful, coordinated chaos.
It really is. Arda and Robert run one way, shouting, drawing aggro.
Aggro, so another gaming term.
Yeah, it's short for aggression. They're acting like tanks in a game, getting the big monster to focus only on them so the others can do their job. They're human bait.
Which lets Amir and Philip go on offense, throwing those glowing stones at the cracks in the giant's armor. They're exploiting the weak points.
And all of that, the running, the shouting, it's all to buy time for one person.
Atakan. He stands at the door. He has one job. Use the key.
Morven is screaming, dark clouds are everywhere, and Atakan turns the key.
And warm light just pours out like sunshine. It doesn't attack the darkness. It just overpowers it by its presence.
And Morven and the giant don't explode. They turn into gray statues, frozen.
I think that's a very specific choice. Morven represented greed and isolation. He refused to change. And what happens when you refuse to change?
You calcify. You become stone.
Exactly. He became a monument to his own stubbornness. While the heart tree drops 5 glowing seeds for the boys. New life. New growth.
The aftermath is just pure joy. They return to the village as heroes.
And we have to talk about the picture at the very end of the document.
Oh, we cannot skip this. The authors included an image that just perfectly sums up the whole feeling.
Okay.
It's the Success Kid meme.
You know one? The little kid on the beach with a fistful of sand, just looking so victorious.
And it's captioned, "Thank you for your attention," and yes, finally over.
It's just such a human, wonderful touch. It reminds you that behind this Ultra Super Pro Max story are 2 creative people who were just excited to share a win.
So wrapping this all up, we started with this gigantic funny title, but we ended with a real blueprint for trust.
We did. You know, looking back, it's easy to say the golden key saved the day. But the key didn't fight the wolves. The key didn't pull anyone out of the mud.
The boys did.
Exactly. The key was the object. But the mechanism that got them to the door was their trust, their leadership, and their refusal to break that first promise. Each boy was a component of the shield.
It makes you think about the forests we all walk into. A big project at work, a family crisis, just life.
It really does. Which raises a question for you, listening. The story says Morven's statue was left as a warning. He was powerful, sure. He had magic and giants. But he was alone.
He didn't have a shield.
He didn't. So in your own life, are you trying to be the lone sorcerer? Trying to get through the dark woods by yourself? Relying on just your own magic? Or are you brave enough to build a shield?
And that's not easy. It means you have to admit you can't do it alone.
Right. Are you willing to tie the ropes for someone else, to hold the lantern, and to trust someone's got your back? Because even the best leader needs someone to throw a shiny stone at the goblins every now and then.
That is a fantastic place to leave it. A huge thank you to Amir and Arda for this truly gigantic folktale. It was, I have to say, X100,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 awesome.
It certainly was.
And thank you for diving deep with us. Go find your party, build your shield, and we'll see you on the next adventure.
Stay safe out there.